using X-Man along with Donald Pierce. And yeah, I think it gives him a second 8-stack character. It gives him a little more some of the previous characters he was using. And he's using Odin's Vault this time, so he has the ability to bring a character back if he needs to. And switch to the Danger Room for a little bit more defense.
Very cool. Yes. Sorry, I keep forgetting we have a new push to talk enabled. So for those that didn't hear me, this is the 5th round of the Battle for Boston tournament with Tyler Bertrand playing Doug Sims. They're just getting us started. They're placing out. We've got a teamwork on Dracula, a teamwork on X-Man, a couple power cards out there. On Doug's side, the hand has put their Snake Root card and 8 any power attack. Mr. Fantastic has the big teamwork, the 8 that gives a +2/+3 bonus, and he's put a Holocaust on his home base that he has set a little bit to the side. Interestingly enough, we did not see Ty get a artifact out from under his Odin's Vault. You can voluntarily discard, but Ty chose to just keep all the cards in his hand, so he liked what he had.
Makes sense, Joe. I think that he's going to want to wait until he has a discard to go get out of Odin's. I don't think that he's in a huge rush like some other decks might try to get a trick going all the time. His deck's pretty solid.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So Doug drew a card, so I think Ty just went 3. Yeah, the Phoenix deck that I run, for example, I could have a hand of the God hand. I'm still dropping one to get that Infinity Gauntlet, because in that deck it's vital. Ty plays the To the Masked Man. Doug immediately plays the Holocaust Activator, which is where he had his negate. You never know on the Age of Apocalypse if it's under Holocaust or Beast. So that's, again, you don't know what to expect in that situation sometimes.
Yeah, Doug's been playing the Age of Apocalypse battle site for as long as I can remember. The Shadowcat activator out of that site is just so incredible. 2 to 10 and the draw 3 and the 6 any power to attack or defend, and now she even has a 6 fighting out of the marvels that throw against a battle site, and it still counts to venture.
And I believe her 4 energy combines with an intellect. So even in this deck, you might throw that as a surprise with a high intellect power card.
That's so true, Joe. I mean, it's just an unlimited amount of things that come out of it.
So these two are both doing the standard chucking a lot of teamworks at each other. So Doug fires off his teamwork, hits with a power card. Tyler fires right back with an any power teamwork, and he, I believe, hits with a low power card. Sorry, guys. We a lot of technical difficulty today's just some cord and port problems, but we will have that feedback up for you in just a moment.
I know Tyler really wants to get a win this year, battling all year, going to all the tournaments. Yeah. Derek's been to a final or 2, Tyler's been to a final or 2, but just haven't been able to get it quite over the line.
Yeah, and that's I used to be a pretty big poker player. I talked to a lot of players about what I think is also happening in Overpower. When I learned to play poker way back in the mid 2000s, the average player was so much less skilled and there were so many less resources. I did great. Nowadays, the average player is so much better than I was back then. I can't even compete. And I feel like Overpower is becoming the same thing. You can't just show up and have to worry about 1 or 2 matches. The average player is so much stronger. Every match is a fight now.
Yeah, you really rarely get an easy win. In this day and age, there's just too much. I shouldn't say too much. There's a lot of information out, which makes it a lot easier for newer players to get into it and be more competitive. And I think overall it's good for the game. As players who've been around and worked hard to figure all those things out yourself, it's a little frustrating at times, I think. But overall, I think you have to look at greater community and hopefully we can really get the game forward.
So did they tie on Venture? Is that what's going on here? It looks like they're not moving their missions and they've drawn their next hand.
Yeah, somebody won the venture. I don't know why they haven't moved the missions. I guess when they go to venture this time, they'll realize it.
So there's an event out. I believe that event is do not discard duplicates this battle.
Yeah, they were talking about over lunch how much they really enjoyed this event, the Bertrands, and my cousin said to Derek, "Well, I mean, I would be happy to not discard, so play, just agree ahead of time, play that way." They're just joking around, but it would change the game, as we've discussed in the past. That this is really hard discard. So
Yeah, sorry guys, we are doing our best to stop having some of these wacky fan-made cards being used so that everybody on the streams can see what's what. So Ty's taking the hits on X-Man. He's firing back. I think he's just playing the game of attrition here.
usually, the longer the game goes, the better it is for Tyler's Dracula deck. But ooh, there he gets X-Man. That said, Tyler does have the ability to get the Infinity Gauntlet out of the Odin's Vault and bring a character back and draws X-Men specials, but he just doesn't have that this time. That would have to happen next round.
I think he's actually locked himself out of the ability to use it because I think he has to play it off X-Man for the 6 energy.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Yeah. None of his remaining characters have a 6, and so I guess that card's done. An X-Man with it is also done.
And that's kind of the observation I made early. It's so important to get that card out when you can. So Doug has played no cards with an energy icon may be used to attack. And I'm sure Doug's manufactured most of his deck other than his activators to not have those icons.
Yeah, this card is one of the most powerful events in the game, especially with as many energy teams as there are due to how powerful Doctor Strange is back. And this game, this card often makes or breaks a match. Because you can't attack with activators when it's in play either. So can any hero very strong.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to be curious to hear from Tyler at the end of this if he thinks the Danger Room was the way to go. Now, Tyler just ventured for the win, so he must think he's got a pretty strong hand, and clearly doesn't care much about the event.
Yeah, he's also seen the negate go by from Holocaust, so he knows his to the last man is going to hit. The I don't think there's any. Is there a KL on Age of Apocalypse where he might be able to get it out and remove it? I don't think there is.
Not that I can think off the top of my head. I mean, wow. So he's playing it right back at him, I'm guessing.
Is that what he did? That's amazing. So that is Morph's 1 per deck. That acts identical to any special card currently on the table. And it looks like he just copied to the last man and just put it right back on Ty.
Wow, and I can see Tyler's face. He's not happy about that.
So that means both characters cannot play any cards with the word teammate. You never see that played off the battle site, that morph card. That's a fantastic play. I really that makes me really happy to see that play.
Yeah, I think that's one of Doug's favorite cards. He's really been lobbying to get an any hero one made. I don't know if you could comfortably just make an any hero like that without making a cataclysm. Probably do a cataclysm.
It would have to be one of the cataclysms for sure.
Doug would for Tyler going for. I hope he's still got some stuff he can work with after that. After that power map.
Oh, clever. He played the non-numerical negate, then next turn he discarded it to negate the to the last man. Wow. That was an amazing. This has been a really, really interesting hand.
That greatly increases Tyler's chances. The way he reacted to that card, I didn't know a way to deal with it originally. Out. So I say so.
All right, so Dracula is locked out with the acrobatics. Uh, Doug does not have access to his teamwork cards. They both have 5 venture out. I don't know. Doug avoids that with the street profit. It's going to be a really, this is going to be a tough one for Doug to win.
He is hearing me. Oh, that's good. All right, we'll stick with it. I don't need to. So Tyler's still got 4 cards in his hand. What's Doug worth?
Uh, Ty's looks like he's got 3 in his hand.
Just
Doug
threw a
is
Ty just threw a 6 intellect at Silver Sable, which is really smart because her teammate avoid would become a dead card for Doug right now.
Yeah, that's when you're in these game point situations and you're facing either Silver Sable or Spider Woman, which Ty has. You almost always want to attack them because you're just eliminating a full defensive card. Ty got really lucky dodging this event. It doesn't look like it shut down any of his cards. Oh, I just take it back.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, this game is going to be a lot longer now.
Doug pulled it out. Doug had to pass. He couldn't attack with his activators because of his own event. Ty had a multi-power card and 2 activators. That 5 that got through ended up deciding the match or the battle. Ooh,
Ooh,
Ty's having
wow.
some bad luck. Ty discards a negate. Ty discards 2 other specials. I don't know what they are. Doug discards a teamwork and 2 Hulk specials. All right. So Doug is up a teamwork. Oh, that was X-Man's 11. It looks like he discarded. Looks like a
So
Street Profit, X-Man's 11, and a negate.
so I'm really surprised that Tyler's not taking artifacts from Odin's Vault with these discards. I know he can't play the energy artifact anymore, but the other 2 are still alive, right?
Yeah, it might be a symptom too. Sometimes people they literally just play it for the one, and the other ones are incidental. I mean, I feel like I would still take them and place them just in case they became useful.
Yeah, I would certainly take one and place it. Yeah, I mean, at the very least, you could discard it if you needed to something.
Actually, he might not be able to play any of them. If that's the Book of the Darkholm and the Adamantium Tentacles, the only targets for those are X-Man. They might, all 3 might actually just be dead if X-Man dies.
So the green one you can't put against does it have to be a 5 or less?
I believe so. It can't be put on a 6 strength guy.
Oh, okay. Well, then that answers that.
Yeah, I think in a deck like this, maybe like a Siege Perilous? Or actually, I don't know the stats. That might be the same thing. Might need to have the 5 or less int to get it on the guy. All right, so Mr. Fantastic throws a 7. I like that play. Tyler shifts it, lets it hit. Tyler has the lockout on Donald Pierce, so he can throw damage on Donald Pierce. No? All right, he takes it. He concedes. Doug Klein is way back.
Yeah, I really thought Doug was in trouble, maybe down and out, but it doesn't look like it.
I mean, it's definitely still anybody's game, but Ty's just so on the defensive with Dracula being as beat up as he is. So Doug has the draw three for Fantastic in his hand. Ty had to drop a duplicate of the rescue operation. Doug can just avoid that card entirely if he goes after Spider Woman first.
The longer this game goes, the better Ty's special card for Dracula gets, where he gets a lot more of the teammate cards, typically as the more cards people have in their hand. So he usually likes when the game goes along with the Dracula, but we'll see. I mean, Doug is playing a Hulk deck that, typically those decks that play mostly aggressive specials or don't play many 9 or less avoids kind of thing. They just aren't hurt as much by that Dracula card, and I mean it hurts you because hurts your teamworks, but just not as bad as a lot of the other decks. So this could be a tough matchup for Tyler.
It's certainly becoming a pretty tough match. Ty had a commanding lead after he won that double hand adventure turn two and killed Hulk, but Doug is hung on, and now I think Doug's actually what is Doug? He's got two in the bottom. I think he's two in the bottom, one in the middle, and four up top. Ty has got at least three in the bottom that I can see. So he's definitely winning on the venture now, and they're even on characters, and he's got Dracula painted. I would say Doug's actually in control of this match now. So
Yeah,
they both go two.
wow. I guess they're both feeling okay about it.
Doug opens with a teamwork, 6 for the block. He's going to follow that up. That's going to be a 6 to block. We're going to see the rescue operation come out. So Doug's just going to punch through that avoid. He'd rather put the KO pressure on Dracula.
Yeah, sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. Everything is dependent on the game state, and that's one of the best parts about Overpower, because it really just isn't that straightforward. Like other games, sometimes games like chess, there's just clearly a correct play and an incorrect play. But Overpower, it's just not that clear cut a lot of the time.
Absolutely. All right, so we see the ally come out, and then Dracula's to the last man is going to shut down any cards Doug has with the word teammate. And then we're seeing Tyler fire back with the 4 strength aspect card. Oh, he uses the lucky bounce. So he defends the 3, and then he gets to immediately put the power card back into his hand.
Wow. I'm on the fence about that card, Joe. What do you think about that card?
I do not like it in a non Four Freedoms Plaza deck. In the Four Freedoms Plaza deck, it's amazing.
Because you can shift it and still use it, right? Because you just have to defend with a power card if you shift during using the 4 freedoms.
Exactly. So it lets you defend with the 8, and then since you can continue to shift, you can actually defend with the 8 twice if you want to, or throw it offensively.
Yeah, so I can see it being much better in 4 freedoms. I still don't think it's like super great, but I would say it's pretty bad outside of 4 freedoms myself.
If I can't tell what that is. Oh, that's the Iceman 6. So Fantastic won't be able to play specials if it hits. He blocks it with the 8 any power. He reaches for his battle site. He's playing the single attack card we talked about, but he throws it as just the 4 energy.
Yeah, you know what? He's not playing the draw 3 for Shadowcat, so it makes it easier for him to get something like that into his deck.
I mean, Ty doesn't really have a choice here. He can't let Dracula die. He basically just has to, he has to negate this 4. He's winning on venture. He needs to pass, force Doug to use the draw 3, and then run once each. Oh, Doug has one more card in his hand, too. Ugh. That's a bad spot for Ty to be in.
So at the beginning of this round, Doug started with the teamwork, and that shows you the value of initiative, because before Tyler got to play that powerful special through Dracula, Doug was able to play the card that you already had the word teammate on it, right? So it's just so good to go first.
Yeah, that's one of the things in this game is, actually read a lot of articles about game theory and how important going first is in different games. Overpower is definitely one where if you're the one firing off first, it can completely change everything about your hand. Ooh, so Doug gets himself back in a position to go for the win and then discards, I think, 4 duplicates. Places a Bakudo. We get the rescue operation, so Doug can avoid that card entirely if he chooses to.
I feel like Tyler's got to have a lockout, or he wouldn't have placed that card in a situation where Doug can go for the win. So Tyler's already played his charm. So what else does he have? He have maybe an acrobatics.
Yeah, possibly. I think we saw that go by already too, if I remember correctly, but
I think so as well.
it may just be he wants to take the pressure off Dracula.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he just really needs Dracula to stay alive in this battle, and that's the only way he thinks he can get it to happen.
Because he may survive a bet 3 here. So Doug doesn't go for it. He's taking the, easy route. So sorry, Doug had 5 cards. He placed just the Bakudo. He kept 4 in hand. Ty's got 3 in hand. A couple of good things on the board, but Ty dropped some cards too. I still think Ty's on his heels on this one for sure.
I just love the variety of the battle sites that we see now. There must be 8 or 10 different battle sites that are actually playable right now.
Yeah, and they definitely, even in the new ones open up, I was using Asclepion with Hell's Kitchen, and I was using the Enforcers one that their 1 per deck lets you avoid an attack with a special on them or teammate, and then heal a permanent record hit that's a special from them or teammate. So it triggers that battle site defensively. You can't then use the attack, but it avoids and gives you a card and lets you remove a hit.
Wow, so Doug just pulled a card off the top, and it was the 1 strength attack, so he was able to use it.
That's hilarious.
And
Bakudo is one of my favorite new cards. I'm glad to see the hand being played in at least 3 decks today.
yeah, fighting has historically been one of the weakest colors, so weakest icons for sure. I'd love to see Doug finish well in this tournament. It's he's been putting a lot into the game and a lot with the podcast him and Phil Miller have been doing. They've really been helping things along. I know a lot of people have been doing a lot of work for the game this year, and I think the community at large really appreciates the work all you guys are doing.
We love to do it, but we also definitely appreciate that. Great play from Tyler. So Tyler played the Paralyzing Gaze, which is a DZ, same as Trick Transport. Dracula cannot be attacked or attack now. So he's basically offensively chosen to lock Dracula out. Oh, we see Sean Sawyer's family here saying hi. That's Yang, his son Matthew, and his newborn Ronan. Glad they get to make an appearance on camera.
So that is a last resort for Tyler. So he's only playing that DZ on his own character if he has no other way to keep Dracula alive. And with the other Dracula card there, I think you're right, Joe. I think placing that Spider Woman avoid really was just trying to get Dracula left alone so he could play those Drac cards. But Doug saw right through it and kept pounding.
And Doug was hitting with those annoying little cuts too. Ooh, so Ty does have the negate for the draw 3. He's not going to manage to pull this out, but Doug also didn't go for the win. So
And there's still time left. You know, Tyler's in a real tough spot, but he's not out of it.
Doug's got a very small deck left though, so he's also getting to the point where, hand is the least beat up, and he's probably going to start drawing that Bakudo every hand or every other hand.
So Doug's in the power pack now, huh?
I don't think he's reshuffled yet. All right, so we have two events here. We have down but not out. Neither player can play special cards this battle. And
Wow.
then we have I'm gonna
Is it Lambs to the Slaughter? Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's purple. It's a powerful event as well. You're looking it up, Joe? I like how Doug's encroaching on Tyler's side of the board.
so that event says no cards with a fighting icon may be used to attack. So essentially, well, that won't affect the activators anyway because they already couldn't use them for the no specials. But I'm actually oh, sorry, that's from Tyler. So that could hit Doug pretty hard. Doug's clearly shown that he's playing a lot of fighting power cards through the hand. So this might be that event may actually get Ty out of this.
And Doug's not in the power pack. He's just reshuffling because of the Bakudo. That's why.
Correct. All right, he fires through. Doug cannot defend Mr. Fantastic, and Mr. Fantastic goes down with a
Ooh.
Doug just has to run.
Seems very frustrated there.
He had some good specials in his hand. He couldn't do anything about it. He had the pin. He just couldn't use any of his own activators. Now, one thing to keep in mind, and this is a common rule that players misplay, and Doug definitely did misplay it there. The event says that you cannot play specials, but affected specials are not discarded. However, you do have to discard your activators. Your activators are not an exception based on that event, and they're unplayable because you can't get the specials out. So Doug should have discarded those activators, and Ty should have had that information if he wanted to go more.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that we've been pretty clear about that up to this point. I'm surprised that Doug didn't discard those, but
So
so now Tyler really has a lot more cards placed here. Doug is starting from scratch, and
yeah, ties as far as card placement and damage on characters. All of Ty's guys are beat up, but Ty is definitely, I think, in a better board position, but he's running out of time. And Doug, one good hand or one good play from Doug, and he could snake that win out.
I think Tyler did go into the power pack here as well. So I'm not sure about Doug.
But we're definitely going to start seeing that Bakudo over and over again now too, which once Doug is in power pack is a monster card.
There's Derek dropping in to see how his brother's doing.
Both players are staying very still right now, just sizing each other up.
I think our feed's frozen.
Now, this is just something they do. They sit very still. So when they play the card, the other person's not ready for it. Oh, there we go. So Doug has gone for the win. I don't know what Ty has bet, but Ty has bet everything he was capable of betting.
Wow. So they both think that they can win this hand.
It could be a symptom too if Doug is in power pack. Oh, that's a great card. Ty is playing the heal off Beast, so he's able to heal a key hit off Dracula.
Wow, that doesn't help to venture right now though. So I mean, it might save him though because he needs to play those Dracula cards. I'm surprised. I would expect like an avoid fighting though. I'm not exactly sure what Tyler has in there. Possibly could be playing more than 3 activators, but as if he had a Sklepion, I could see him playing it, but without a Sklepion.
I know he's always concerned about Dracula dying. It could just be the last card he has for Beast, because early on, if you can afford to play it, it's really great to keep Dracula alive.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, some of the early battles, Tyler just knows that he's not going to be able to win Venture because sometimes he just like is setting things up, like putting the Dracula negates out on the field, But then he's just like he gets a stranglehold on the game, and you can't do anything about it. But I feel like this game's been more back and forth, and he hasn't been able to like lock it down by any stretch. Ooh.
So that's the mistake we talked about right there. He decided to go into the hand and he let Silver Sable use that teammate only avoid on a 7 energy attack, where that would have been a kill shot on her. It would have required a full battle site card to defend.
Yeah, I don't think she probably couldn't have defended it. I mean,
Yeah, I would call that a straight misplay. I think that the position Tyler's in, he could not afford to let that 7 be defended by an otherwise dead card.
let's see if he still has enough left, though.
I don't know. He's locked. Yeah, that's so tough. He locked Dracula out again with the DZ. Had he killed Scarlet or Silver Sable, that lockout could have just locked down the hand. Although actually, he probably doesn't want to do that because he needs to get Venture.
Yeah, he would have been behind too much. That's what I was thinking.
So this is just an interesting deck building thing. I think that's at least the second one strength I've seen Doug play. I feel like he might be playing 3 of every power card. I feel like
No,
that's the
I don't think so. I think that he's in the power pack now. I think that's just the same one that we saw earlier.
okay. That makes a lot more sense.
I don't think he has more than one of those in his deck, based on just recent videos that they've put out. It's possible, but I doubt it. Playing a battle site.
All right. He is going for the full lockout. So he's locked out Dracula. He's locked out the Reavers. And that's why Ty's a better player, because I wasn't even paying attention to him being able to do that.
But he still needs to be able to get hits through, and he can't play the teamwork now because Dracula can't attack.
Yeah, he's got to be able to generate 12 Venture here.
All right, so Doug's attacking the battle site now that he has no other options on the front line with the multi-3 power card. This is a situation where Doug has to be careful not to throw all of his low power cards away. Then you won't be able to reshuffle them back into his power pack too, because he could easily lose that way, just running out of low power cards and only having a couple cards each hand.
That's a great point. If he doesn't end up winning it, he could really mess up his ability to draw full hands later.
That being said, I mean, sometimes you have no choice. Like, he has to attack with the cards in his hand, so. I mean, I guess he could have blocked the 1 there with the 6 or with the 3 that was already played, but. Ooh, wow.
Ooh.
That's an Angel 6 energy attack, and if it's successful, it's Doug is -4 to Venture, so that's worth 10 points of Venture by itself.
So this is interesting. I think that's not for the win. Tyler's not going for the win, is he?
I don't think so. Tyler's definitely winning this Venture, so.
I think Doug did the classic, or Doug did the classic, I'm going for the win. And when I lost, I think the game's over. But yeah, they're going to go into another hand.
Yeah, this is still going. That is going to make it a lot harder for Doug to win now.
Yeah, because I was wondering why Doug took the 6, was losing on Venture, and then instead of running, he let the 8 get put on the hand. He could have just conceded there.
So are we both now fully in the power pack, or?
I believe so. I'm wondering, did we miss where the Bakudo went? Or is it just shuffled into his power pack and he didn't draw it?
Yeah, I was expecting to see it by now. I am very surprised. It's possible, though, because he might have only had part of the power pack last round. Then this round he gets a whole hand, so, he probably has more than 10 or 12 power cards in his deck, so it's probably just in the bottom of the power pack.
I'm not sure how many he's going here, but Ty has bet everything. I assume it's for the win.
Okay.
So the question here, if you're in Doug's situation, do you also bet for the win here so Ty can't karmic victory you if he kills the guy?
I think with Ty going first, even if he kills the hand, that it's going to be over.
Yeah, that's the game. Doug looks a little miffed.
Yeah, wow, that was a tough one. It really looked good for Doug for most of that match. Like I said though, it's so hard to beat Tyler's Dracula deck when it goes long game.
Yeah, that was so back and forth because Ty got that huge hand two win to get the venture, and then Doug just slowly came back, looked like he had the match dominated. And then next thing you know, Ty's Dracula deck was you just can't get rid of Dracula in it.
No, he did not manage to kill Dracula. Well, guys, that's another long round. I think that the last three are